Conservation Commission meeting to order. Thank you for the patience in getting this all and waiting for all this to come together. Let's just really jump right into reviewing the minutes. And if you could put those up there, it would be great. From our October 1 meeting. They're also in your packets. And who is taking the note? Are you taking notes? Okay, thank you.
And Mary hadn't, I don't believe she had said who was taking notes. So as long as
David is going to be taking notes.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, David.
That's awesome.
So can I have a motion to approve the motion to approve the minutes? Do I have a second? Excellent. All in favor, say aye. Aye. That's unanimous. Okay. That's that one. What is it? It's almost 7:40, so we can do some
Correspondence. Yeah.
In fact, since I see David here, I'm sorry.
I'm Lisa Cote from Neshoba Valley, Olympia.
Oh, okay. So you're here for the park. So we can do that in a bit. Actually, is that going to be long?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
It's not.
I can speak to that a bit. I had been handling that.
Well, yeah, if Lisa's going to be here, because I think the conversation with Dave might be a little more extended.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if that's is that your only area of interest?
Yeah.
I can imagine. Okay, so if people don't mind, let's go to that. You also should have, yeah, so Ian, if you could give us.
Neshoba Valley. So I'll also note, our public hearing has requested continuation. So we can start that after.
Yeah, I will note that, after this, I will just,
Perfect.
we'll move to, we'll deal with the public hearing, but I don't think we can do anything until 7:45 anyway. Yeah, so might as well just do this.
So in your packet toward the back, there will be a folded over site plan, and that you'll actually have two of those. One is for the enclave update, and one is for this repair and maintenance proposal that we got from Neshoba Valley Olympia. And that will have some color on the map, whereas the enclave one will be, it will not have color. You'll see it's from GPR. It has some red, green, and blue on it. And I'll begin to speak to that a bit.
I think we all have it. I think we got it.
Okay, wonderful. And I'll actually give Lisa an opportunity. Lisa, did you want to speak to the beginning of this, or did you want to follow my comments?
This doesn't really matter. I guess I can start. So I'm Lisa from Neshoba Valley, Olympia, and we're right down the street at 34 Mass Ave, but we are in the buffer zone for wetlands. And if anyone's gone to the rink or to Oxford, probably more specifically, their cars probably been swallowed up by some of those potholes that are there. Yeah, there's some big ones. So we would like to repair them. And so we did get a quote from Lazaro as to how they could do that. But then I reached out to Mary because I remember last time when we repaved the entire lot, we needed more approvals than we anticipated. So we're doing it the right way this time. And so we just I had Ian come out to walk it with us and to help understand. So basically we're just repairing what was already done, but now there's potholes. As well as the dirt, when Ian can explain it as well, but the dirt part of the parking lots that's across from Oscars cannot be paved. So we had that graded in 2023 with the appropriate gravel that's supposed to go on there. And that has not held up well. So we just really need to kind of regrade that because of similar potholes that are there. And then there's one other spot in the back that we have a septic area that was paved before, but it's become overgrown. We just want to clean that up. And we're not certain, I'm sure you guys know, you were going to look at that and Ian can speak to that. I don't know if that's in the buffer zone or not, because it's kind of between two of the buildings, the shed and the building. It's that little blue dot on your left-hand side, or the square, the asphalt. So that's really all I have. We just want to figure out what the process is so we can do the right things and then get it paved before the winter. They want to do it in the next 2 weeks, which I know is probably unrealistic if there is a longer process. But certainly before the frost comes, we want to get it done. So that's all I have. Ian, if you want to go from there.
Yeah, so
Is
thank
there a
you
way
very
to
much.
put the diagram on the screen?
Yep.
Do you have?
I'm gonna walk through this, and then I'll leave the diagram up. Is that okay, or did you want to I'll pull the diagram up first, I suppose. Let me get out of here. So this is the map that I had told the commission to open up and begin looking at. It is originally done by GPR 2014 during the repairs that they did to the stormwater management system, as well as the paving. And then it was written over in red pen, which you can completely ignore for this, because that was done in May of 2023 for maintenance of the site. Specifically at number 3 here, they landscaped an entrance that includes a small pagoda, a bench, some rocks, a stone wall, and some mulch. At number 1 here along the top against the asphalt driveway, they had installed a white fence. And then number 2 here are these clouds. These are the islands, the landscaped islands that sit between the gravel and the asphalt driveway. And then number 4 here, which has been hatched over with this green, you can see is the extent of their gravel parking lot and driveway. Again, those were done in 2023. And then the blue and green are the proposed maintenance repair areas that Neshoba Valley Olympia has come to us to ask permission for, and they have provided us a quote, as well as I have pulled together some additional details. So I will start here. This is just the email exchange that Lisa had originally sent me, the original ask, and Mary was the first person to remind Lisa and Neshoba Valley Olympia of Perpetual Condition 67, which we'll get to in their certificate of compliance that allows maintenance with commission approval. So that's one of the options that we have today. They're simply patching existing driveway and not disturbing any ground. We may be able to proceed. However, an RDA or NOI may be required. I'll continue to the estimate. You guys have this printed, so I will just cover the basics, but there are pavement repairs in front of the steps and patch in the roadway. Essentially 4 areas that we'll be looking at. In front of the steps, the patch in the driveway/roadway, and then the gravel area to be recreated, and then this option to repair asphalt around the manholes in the back of the building that Lisa was getting at, that we weren't sure was in the buffer zone. Although I did check and it is in the buffer zone, and we'll get to that as well. So quickly, I won't go through all 30 or so pages of their original amended order of conditions /COC, which has their perpetual conditions starting at on page H7 of 10 in the recorded document at the Registry of Deeds. So perpetual conditions 67 states, in accordance with the plan submitted to and approved by the Conservation Commission, regular maintenance and repair as needed shall be performed by the applicant with reports to the Commission as specified in this plan. The Conservation Commission shall be notified in writing when any maintenance functions that may impact the wetlands, such as, but not limited to, replacing backfill and repairing drainage features, are to be performed. After speaking with the town engineer, Sue Carter of Places, and we looked at this map in front of you and that I had previously shown, as well as the proposed quote provided by Lazaro Paving, we opined that this falls under regular maintenance. I will continue to show these I had included in here if you guys wanted to look at them more. This is the request for determination, the RDA plan, and then the determination of applicability that came in 2023. And if you guys would like to look at this more, I'd be happy to dig into it more. I'd also pull up the site photos before we get back into the plan. So this is, let's start on the left side of your plan where it says asphalt around manholes. Lisa could possibly speak to this more, but she described today that some work had recently been done to their sewer manholes in the back here that had left a bit of dirt on the asphalt and had torn up some asphalt to get into those manholes. And so that square outcropping of asphalt has a structure, as you can see on the right side of your screen. That structure is kind of where the incropping of land is, just to the left of that blue scribble. And this whole section used to be asphalt, and now it has a lot of weeds growing in it from all the dirt that has come up in the asphalt that's been torn up. So with this used to be asphalt, this is considered maintenance and repair. Sue and I both discussed today. We will continue to, this is the front photo of that. As you can see, the asphalt kind of drizzles out. And on the, I'll note on the right side of this truck, the asphalt goes all the way back. As you can kind of see in this picture, it reaches from here to here.
All right.
Let me see if I can zoom a bit. Yeah, you can see the asphalt a bit here, and it was just torn up a bit. So now turning our attention to the front, this is labeled pavement repairs, specifically that that crescent shape at the edge of the driveway. This is, if you follow my mouse, this is roughly where the pavement used to extend to, and now you can see that it's no longer there. I have actually a picture of Lisa's feet in the puddle. It's about 3 or 4 inches deep. With the ice and with the erosion and the usual use that this area gets, the pavement has been degraded and crushed away at this break between the pavement and the gravel, and now there is a really, really big and slightly dangerous pothole. Yeah, a lot of cars bottom out, and I know my tiny Sentra almost did today. And so this infill here, Billy had described today, Billy, the maintenance gentleman who Lisa introduced me to. This is just the rocks and gravel from roughly this patch that we're standing in, the broken up asphalt and gravel that they had moved over here because this was very deep and they needed to infill it just a tiny bit. We'll continue looking. This is a further out picture of specifically this crescent moon shape where the asphalt meets the gravel. You can see a very big hole there. This is specifically the gravel regrading of the eastern parking lot, the entirely gravel parking lot. You can see there's a lot of holes there. Maybe not as big, as deep as the one that I had just shown, but they are definitely significant in holding a lot of water. And that is, this entire gravel area is the limit of gravel regrading, and the hatch marks on the site plan in front of you are just my rough estimates of the primary areas that will be regrading based on what I saw today and what we see in this photo. This here is specifically that blue dot you see on upon the entrance, in that number 3 circle. It is a small sinkhole. It's obviously not as significant as the other holes, but it is definitely significant to seniors and really anybody walking in and out of the ice rink, especially next to those handicapped parking bays. And it is definitely you're able to roll or possibly break your ankle on that because it's maybe 3 or 4 inches deep and could be hard to see at night. That's the extent of the photos that I have. I will pull up the plan markup that I had done today, and if anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them, and maybe Lisa can as well.
So I just want to confirm, so you're not adding any more pavement, it's just you're
Replacing them.
replacing what's there to the limit.
Yeah.
And not extending any gravel area, just backfilling.
And
Does
that
anybody-
is precisely what Sue and I had discussed in the reasoning for believing that this fell into maintenance and repair within the lot.
So the gravel regrading just consists of moving it around. So-
Exactly, yes.
So I'm in agreement. I think this is just normal maintenance, doesn't need a filing.
Yeah, I would have to agree as well.
As someone who's down there quite regularly, with a grandson who plays hockey, it needs work. So, I'm glad to hear there's a plan, and it seems very reasonable to me too, from a maintenance repair standpoint. The longer you let things go, the more expensive it gets to repair it. And I am curious, seeing that puddle, when they regrade, where does that water go? Will they regrade it such that it runs off into the little wooded area over to the side?
So Billy talked about, and I can't speak to it quite as well as he did. So right here, this area here.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are kind of little retaining ponds that were built originally, right? And we're supposed to, which he said he needs to get to, is open that bay up, because that would help that first giant puddle that's
Drain off.
kind of here, this part here, so that will drain that. I think if they grade, it probably would be, it was designed to go back this way, but it's just,
Sure.
it's our second or third time getting that gravel.
Yeah.
And we thought this last guy in 2023 is when the gravel was
I remember
done.
that.
And it didn't last, because it has to be plowed too, so that doesn't help, right? So, it's just he's trying to maintain it as best he can, but it's just gotten really bad.
So I mean, the gravel itself is pervious. So is
Yes.
the surface underneath the gravel not pervious or?
Or maybe it's just the New England weather, the freezing time. Yeah, the permafrost underneath. I'm not certain, and it's just also wear and tear. Obviously, where he's drawn these here, it's where more of the cars park. And that's really why this got so bad. People are trying to avoid something, and they just made bigger holes and bigger holes by doing this.
Yeah.
So,
long and short of it is you don't need to file, and it sounds like you can just continue.
I can just go forward.
Yeah.
So I'll note, Sue and I did come to a conclusion where we thought the best management practice would be to install either straw wattles or a silt fence along the length of this gravel edge that borders the wetland, just to ensure that,
Oh, the eastern end?
It's here. I know you can't see me bottom in, but the bottom that faces the woods.
Yep,
Yeah.
along the bottom, which is the
So that's prior to
eastern edge.
regrading. Because after doesn't really make sense, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sue had, our town engineer had recommended a silt fence or straw wattles to border that while the regrading had occurred, just in case while they're out there regrading, be it the gravel or the cement, if we get a washout or a lot of rain, that none of that will run off into the wetland.
Okay, and I can talk to you about more clarification where those precisely need to be. Offline, so make sure.
Yeah, I'd be happy to coordinate that with you.
Okay.
Our commission does need to vote to approve this. In perpetual condition 67, it says in accordance with the plan submitted and approved by the Conservation Commission. So as long as they approve that and allow either the town engineer or one of the town planners to coordinate this, then we'll be good. And if are there any further questions regarding this project?
Okay, so I move that the Conservation Commission, we approve this repair plan with the provision that a silt fence be installed to control any potential runoff, and to have have you work with the town planner, Ian, in this case, to get a satisfactory siting for the silt fence.
And I would just include or straw wattles.
Or straw wattle.
I'm good with the second.
All in favor?
All right.
All right, well, thank you for coming in.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you for remembering to do it.
Yeah. All right. Have a good night, you guys. Thank you. Thank you, Ian.
No problem. Thank you very much, Lisa. I'll be in contact.
All right, great.
Okay, let me circle back, because
Oh, yeah.
7:45 is come and gone, but I would like to move that, I guess we have been asked to continue the hearing for 975 Math Ave until another date. Do we have a date that they're suggesting, or are we just picking it to the next meeting, or are we doing it next year? What are we doing?
The one across from Elizabeth Way or whatever,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. So, can you just update us on the status, Ian?
Yeah.
Why?
Yes, absolutely. I'm just realizing that I had spoken with Lim Hoot today. I'm getting that email because it seems like there was an error with the Dropbox, but he had requested continuation. Alec and I had talked with him following Monday. It was his planning board meeting is continued to the 17th of November. And with that, he expected to present giving an update to the ZBA last night. He was not able to do so just because they did not meet quorum. With Mark White being in a butter, they were not able to meaningfully discuss this, so they closed it. I'll show you guys the continuation request. My apologies.
So it is at like December 3rd or 17th. If they're waiting for this, is it November 17th you said for the planning board?
November 17th. Yeah, that's their next hearing for the planning board. So please accept this as a formal request for a continuation from the Conservation Commission. He did want us to look at the latest site plan revision within the shared folder. I had uploaded that to this website. So you have two items here aside from that email correspondence. You have their revised site plan from last week, the 16th. The main area of this that I was looking at was this last page. And I actually don't believe that I printed this just because we're not discussing it today. I want to let you guys know that this is available online. Happy to print it, but where we're not discussing it, I did not feel the need to print it since your packets were already so full. I will note that the full wetland replication plan has been included in the final piece of paper, the final page on the map. And although it says 1-3, page 2 is just this wetland replication area. Lim Hoot has shared this with me today, and the full plan can be read on this as well.
So why do they need to see the ZBA, Ian?
Yeah, so the last time they had spoken with the ZBA was their initial meeting, which was in June, and with there being several revisions and other additional items on this case, they the applicant wanted to provide an update with all the changes and revisions to their project. As I mentioned, they didn't end up doing that, but really it was just going to be a 5 to 10 minute presentation from Limhoot, going over the major changes that have happened over the past few months to lead them to this final site plan here.
But I think this is the first I'm hearing that they needed some kind of approval from the ZBA.
Yeah. so
What is
they're-
that approval?
Yeah, but what?
Oh yeah, sorry. It is a special permit to allow for the business trade use in their zoning district.
In the what zoning district?
Let me pull that up now. I believe it's B.
Maybe they're industrial instead of commercial.
So that zoning district doesn't.
It must not allow tradesmen.
Zoning, yeah. So on page 2 of their site plan, you can see zoning district is business, proposed use is business trade or building trade, and they do need a ZBA special permit.
Okay.
So what we really need to do though is just find a date to reschedule them to. And they did not request one. They didn't suggest a time.
They did not request one, and I will leave that up to you guys. If you want an update from Limhoot, you can move it to our next meeting on the 5th. If you want to follow up after their next planning board meeting, that would be the week. That would be November 19th.
So, I'm not gonna be here on the 5th,
Yeah.
so.
So let's do the 19th.
Sounds good.
I move that we.
And I will note we have a public audience member here, happens to be on the planning board. Cindy just raised her hand.
Hi, Cindy.
Hi, everybody. Hi, how are you?
Hi, Cindy. How are you?
I do have a question that may be the applicant's choice, but I guess I'm curious as to whether or not you folks are waiting for a planning board decision before proceeding with the application for the wetlands permitting, or you're planning on doing it concurrently. I just want to get a sense of what your timing is, if you would.
I guess they hadn't had I guess we were sort of, they kept changing what they were doing, so I guess we were.
Well, my understanding is that they've kept requesting continuances primarily to work out issues with the planning board. Now, as I say, tonight is the first I've heard that they also have to work out issues with the ZBA or give the ZBA updated plans.
So, sorry, go ahead, Ian.
No, I was just going to echo what David had said. Being in communication with Limhoot and the applicant, that is the ask that they have been doing, repeatedly asking to follow the planning board meetings, and then with it not being closed out, they usually continue it, and so that has been upon the request of the applicant that we've been moving and continuing that.
Okay, did you folks get a routing sheet initially on the project? I don't know that we got any comments from Conscom. I guess, this is a little bit of a chicken and egg situation, but I always find it helpful to hear the Conscom's thoughts about the wetlands restoration plan. At this point, I mean, that is, we would certainly condition any approval from the planning board upon a Conscom approval, but I would be interested in hearing, and I think the planning board would be interested in hearing from the Conservation Commission about the proposal. So normally we would get that through the routing sheet process. So I guess I'm whether informally asking, because I'm curious as to what the Conscom's position is on the proposed wetlands replication and such.
Okay, so the only thing is, so our next meeting though is it sounds like we might not even have a quorum, but is that the 5th? November 5th?
Yes.
So it does look like we would be the 19th anyway, so that would be our next available slot. of November.
That's our next meeting.
I am just concerned, our next meeting is the 5th.
I can make it happen. I'm home alone that whole week and can pull my parents into Vermont if needed, but I'm always reluctant to do that.
I would actually really just prefer, especially since it's a hearing,
Yeah.
that we have as many of our members as possible, because these things usually take multiples, and I want everybody, I want to be able to keep a quorum of people eligible to actually vote on the decision. So, I just would move that we, continue the hearing on 975 Mass Ave until November 19th at, we'll do 7:45. Does that seem
Yeah.
reasonable?
Yeah, makes sense.
And do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Yeah, so it's November, and, yeah, thank you for your comments, Cindy, because you're right, it is a chicken and the egg, and, but we actually haven't heard from them.
No.
For I don't even know, I don't even know where they are with the replication.
Well,
Because I haven't,
that looks like it on a plan, but I don't think we've had a chance to really discuss with them.
yeah.
You know,
No,
the
yeah,
details.
that first time that they showed us, right?
Right, and we did raise some concerns, at the last meeting, and presumably they're addressed this plan, but we need to hear it from them.
Yeah. Okay.
So forgive me, there's no meeting.
So
on-
Cindy, I'll also point out, I know we've moved it already, but there was a meeting. I'll try to get you the date of it, a meeting of the ConsCom that the applicant did come in and discuss this proposal kind of in its mid stages, I'd say. And the committee or the commission did raise concerns about it. Specifically, I believe they were only supplied part of this wetland replication plan. That was one of the big concerns. I do believe it was following this move of the wetland replication area. So I'll look back and I'll look for the minutes and or the recording, and I can try to get that to you.
Okay, and again, you understand that, you know, the reason the routing sheets go out is to get comments, obviously, at the preliminary stage, and I don't know if we got any comments from ConsCom at that point, but I've always been a little frustrated that we don't sort of get the input from several of the boards that might be hearing this on their own time frame, which I totally understand, but it's hard for our board without input, and yet, we're going ahead trying to make a determination contingent on what another board is doing. But it would be helpful to get at least minutes from that board, Ian, if that's something you can provide the planning board for our next.
And I paused the share while I went back. I saw the routing sheet. It was sent to the ZBA and the ConsCom. And usually it's the discretion of the chair or the commission, their comments, and probably usually when it's a shared hearing, and the commission or the zoning board will also be hearing it. We don't always see responses from that, but yep, I'll look for those. I'll send those over.
Okay,
This is a topic for a future discussion, but I think we should talk about whether the commission is comfortable allowing Ian to submit comments on routing sheets in the future.
Oh, okay.
I think
You can have
that's what I do in my job.
Sounds good.
So we should talk about it.
Let's do it. And I know you said something about, no, this is not to say we've canceled the November 5th meeting. I just didn't want to schedule a hearing for that, especially since I hear David,
Yeah, we can talk about that before we leave.
Yeah,
tonight.
before we leave tonight, but I'm not ready to cancel yet. Okay. So yeah, one of the key things, the final CPC application. Okay, so I was in London for the past week. I have not done anything on it. It is due at the end of this month. Is that correct, Ian? Is it October 30?
Let's see, 10:30, I believe. 10:30. Yep.
Okay. So
He usually sets a time for those as well, so I keep an eye out for that, like 11 a.m. or 10 a.m. on that day. But I'll let you know, and we'll have it done before that as well. So.
Well, so I did run into a couple of members of the CPC who were wondering, is this a one, did we talk about this? Is this a, something that we're gonna be upping for the foreseeable future, or is this a one-time thing to cover, and
Yeah.
cover that?
I picked Alex's brain about it earlier today, and our original discussion when we had looked at this application and raising the amount that we're asking for, it had always been a 1 or 2 year increase, depending on what we see come in the next year. And next year we'll make an assessment to see if we want to ask for this again, and following either next year or the following year, depending on what we ask next year, then we will likely return to our form of 10,000 or so dollars. Alec was kind of hesitant to lock in with, you know, promises or certain language that we would only ask for 1 year, or we would definitely return to exactly $10,000 following this temporary increase. But he did want to stress that the increase was temporary, be it 1 year or 2 years.
Okay.
Although,
Pleased.
yes, although the commission can always decide to submit an application, you know,
Anyway,
yeah,
right.
for the increased amount. I mean, you don't need to make that decision right now.
No, but I think the way that they've been treating, our 10,000, and remember we used to ask for what, huh?
Oh, that was
Way long
way
ago.
back.
All I'm saying is, but now they treat our 10,000 as a given, and it sounds like if it went to 25, it wouldn't be so much of a given.
Yep. So I can see here through 2010 until 2018, we were receiving $5,000, as you can see, transfer free cash. Actually 2012, sorry, 2012, 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18, before it was raised to $10,000 in 2019. And the 5 or 6 years to follow that have all been $10,000.
There may be a number of projects that come up suddenly and at the same time over the next 5 years that we would need the 25 grand waiting for. Very helpful to have.
Yeah, and Alec and I discussed that. That's exactly the argument that we'll be making during our presentation. We sincerely believe that getting this $25,000 or an additional $25,000 next year will put the Conservation Commission and the Conservation Trust Fund in a prime position to act on acquisitions and purchases and matching grants if we ever need a plan or something of the sort done. The idea is that our Conservation Trust Fund is significantly more liquid than the conservation bucket that the CPC allocates for conservation projects. And so where that takes a year, even more than a year usually, to acquire through application processes, having it in our trust fund could take as little as you know, a single meeting or several meetings where we're able to discuss it, but significantly less time.
Yeah. Okay. I think
he also importantly pointed out, you can see, and you know, this was a different year where we created a pretty big plan. In 2023, we created the open space recreation plan, and we spent down pretty significantly to a point where we would not be able to make any significant purchases or acquisitions should they come up. So this ask is a big ask, obviously, but it's to prepare us if any of those possibilities for acquisitions for preservation and conservation land come up.
Well, it's really replenishing it.
Yes, exactly. It's replenishing it so that we're ready for those. And Alec had we discussed this. We didn't want to stress it in our application per se, but we could certainly discuss it with there having been open deeds in the passing of a couple significant property owners in town, historic property owners. At that, I'll add recently getting more money in our conservation trust fund will, like I said, prime us to attack those opportunities should they come offered to us or put on the market. We will hopefully, with this additional funding, be able to acquire those in a much quicker fashion and put more land within the town into conservation land. And it'll be more of a discussion during the presentation, but Alec had suggested the idea of looking at getting an acreage of this land that I had just talked about, potential conservation land or conservation land that we may have not been able to capitalize on in the past years, getting an acreage and saying, you know, we could have added 50 or 200 additional acres had we had this funding, and we hope to use this funding in the future to add, you know, X amount of but yeah, like I said, not in the application. That will be something brought up in the presentation.
Okay. Thank you. I think I was the one who asked to have this on, and I would like to. I think I'll come in sometime. I don't know if you're in tomorrow, Ian, or just to touch base on where we are with that. And
yeah, I'd be more than happy to.
Sounds like you and Alex
through.
are drafting it on our behalf. Bravo.
And I will say tomorrow doesn't work, but next week I'm very open. So we can do early next week. Let me just check my calendar, but feel free to just shoot me an email and we can get something.
Sounds good.
So, I should remember this. Have we voted on this on the final application, or should we do that tonight?
Yeah, what do we need to do? Do we need to vote to authorize me to sign off on a CPC application on behalf of the Conscom for $25,000?
That would be exactly it. I believe we voted on the preliminary and not the final.
Yeah, so
I think we voted and passed that when you were
when I was gone,
gone.
definitely did voted at the $25,000.
I'm not sure that was the final. I think that was just the preliminary application.
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah, let's just do it one more time that the commission authorized the chair to sign the CPC final application on their behalf for $25,000.
You just made a motion?
Yes.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay.
Yeah, you're correct.
So yeah, the final. Excellent. Oh, well, thank you so much, Ian, and I'll for picking up the ball and moving forward. And it's great to have this running sort of sheet telling us how much where the money has been spent and what we have.
Yeah, and I'll have Mary update it. I know I had mentioned that in the past. Mary's going to update this, so when we begin working on this, we'll be able to use the most recent figures.
Yeah. Okay, sounds good. All right, any other thoughts on the final CPC application? No. Okay, so since Dave is here, let us jump right to there's so many trail issues. So many trail things. Well, a couple, first of all, and I don't know, this is a sort of a all new commission, but in the past, when I was on where you are now on land stewardship, the Conservation Commission had pretty much handed over responsibilities for just routine maintenance, which would include laying down wood chips, clearing or, you know, brushing a trail that exists, or putting up wayfaring marks and kiosks where, and putting down boardwalks. I don't think there's any need to come to the commission to ask for permission to put boardwalks on a particular trail. I mean, I still feel that way. I don't know how that. Do you, how do you?
I mean, I think as long as it's on an existing trail.
Right, as long as,
They're not like thing island thing.
no, these are just, yeah,
They're easily moved, removed.
yeah.
Nothing being put in the ground.
yeah, I think that's sort of, and then if there's if a new trail is wanted, then you would come to us.
Right. Yeah.
But just for dealing with drainage issues on existing trails, by marshaling people to bring the boardwalks down there. I mean, you don't have to come to us for that. So,
But that was my impression, or from when you passed me along all your files and stuff. You know, Norm was asking.
Yeah, Norm.
The same thing.
Why otherwise?
I don't imply, yeah, I don't know why,
What are you doing?
it just implied
I was
otherwise.
like, you should be including the.
You just make sure I get permission first, but which I'm happy to do, you know,
Yeah.
you know, whatever. This is a team effort here, I don't wanna just do whatever.
It's good that he was looking out for us, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
It's like he's making sure we know something, but I do think it's.
I think
Yeah.
part of it also is maybe he was more involved, when I was involved, he was more involved too, so he always
Yeah.
knew what was going on.
Yeah,
But I don't remember either of you requesting permission.
No, well, I think we had, I definitely remember coming and talking about it, and that the idea was routine maintenance,
Yes.
go do it.
Dennis, when I asked him about our like treehouse platform or whatever, he was like, if it's a temporary structure that could easily be removed or moved.
Yeah,
Go
Yeah.
for it. It's not gonna, you don't.
it's nothing being anchored in the.
Yeah,
ground.
there's nothing anchored, there's nothing.
Yeah, something that would be nice to have is a periodic update on all the stewardship.
Yeah, that would be nice.
I mean, it doesn't,
Yeah,
that doesn't.
yeah, that would be,
Yeah,
and also just like show the town, these things have been improved.
what do you think, quarterly or annually, or what would be your right?
Yeah, quarterly would be good,
well, especially since there's like a couple of real great projects going on here.
That,
Yeah.
like, you can't go there.
Interestingly-
Right?
Yeah, that was really, flooded. It came down though.
Oh my
I
god.
was surprised, I was about to come to you. There's a couple of requests for it, I was to come and say, I just don't think it's worth, whether it's beavers or whatever, that, it's not fixable
You can't
anymore.
go,
But
yeah.
then it
Oh,
went
where's
back
this?
so much on Sunday.
Oh, yeah,
Now it is a couple of, I think 4 boardwalks out, is gonna do it,
Yeah,
at least the way it is now, but that was probably the last 3 days, but
wait,
you
how
know,
about pond?
that's like.
there's a bridge already in the middle.
Right, is that coming apart?
In both, the bridge is fine, both
Yeah,
sides,
the bridge is okay.
both,
Oh, but it's
both ends of the
leading up
bridge was several inches of
Yeah.
water. But now that, then the water went down to
Yeah, then you
just
just.
muddy again, you know, it's
Cheers.
muddy and walkable. You wanna get your boots
Yeah.
muddy, but a boardwalk will help solve the problem.
But like spring, you can't walk there.
Yeah,
I mean,
that
you
was
can, you just need.
with waivers.
Yeah.
So I mean, I was,
You
it
don't
was,
used to get that.
right.
I mean, I was,
That's very interesting, cause that bridge
This
was
is
built
really
in
bad.
height.
I was like, we need to change the culvert for Burrito Lane or whatever it's called,
Bartolo.
yeah, that's like, that whole area is just like a pond.
yeah, cause I really was gonna, when I was asked to go look at it, I was gonna say, this doesn't seem worth doing.
Yeah,
And
like
then it went
why,
down so much that
walk here?
I do think it's, I mean, I don't know, maybe it'll ebb and flow every year,
I don't think it's down there more often.
It's wet,
but
yeah,
yeah,
and the couple times that I've gone, it's been like,
yeah.
Because
okay. come on, why
DPW, you know, there's that, they've actually put gravel, they gravelled that whole, access road, that sort of farm road that leads from Hill Road,
Oh, yeah.
just below.
Yeah, that's all
Washed out.
easily, no, I mean, it's in good shape, in general.
So where is the flooding again?
So
So
if you park at that trail, for me at least, if you park at that trailhead across, I mean. what is it, like,
on Hill Road,
Garden, yeah, the garden house, and then you go down the hill, and it's on the right, there's that little trailhead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then.
You go all the way
walking
down to
through
the end of
woods
the
and
gravel.
like walking in a pond.
It's,
at the
you go,
bottom.
you go, it's a little bit closer to come from Bartolo Lane, but
Yeah.
it's still above, I mean, it's right in between.
It's sort of higher.
The service road, the gravel road you're talking about that goes from Hill Road goes.
It ends up in
it
water.
ends.
So,
And then a little bit past that is where there's a pond and a bridge that goes.
so where's the dam? Where's the beaver dam?
I don't know.
I'm just speculating there might be one.
I
I,
agree, I mean, like, well, like, remember that guy who came in and he's like, we need to
Yes.
raise this,
I
and
don't
he was all
look at that.
I didn't honestly explore around it
Yeah.
to figure out if there was one.
Well, in the past, they dammed a culvert on Hill Road. Bartow, yeah, whether Bartow Lane goes over it or right next to it. But
the same one.
It could
That
be,
the guy was
it's
there.
probably where, if there is one now, that's probably.
but you would see that whole wetland area back there, that would look like a huge pond.
It
Well, here-
So it does,
Right, like,
cause
I looked a couple times, like in June or something, then in July, it was still so high, that's when I was about to schedule.
I'm like,
But then it went
It's obvious that
miraculously
they're
down.
yeah, I mean.
The next.
Well,
so
It's
dry,
like
it's
twice.
in August was so dry.
if the beavers are damming that, they're gonna continue to dam it. And those people living along Hill Road right there, like one of which has a new septic system.
Yeah, right.
They're gonna freak out,
We're gonna have-
so we do have to keep an eye on that.
Yeah. Well, I'll
It
try to-
weirdly doesn't like, so I've looked at that house like as I drive by and been like, okay, let me see if and it is not a notable difference from a person driving by and looking at that backyard, you're like, oh, the water's higher or lower,
Well,
like,
not yet,
it's not yet,
sure, you may get that.
but it's like, it's a weirdly, like, you have to get X amount into the woods there, and then you're in that.
yeah, well, let's keep an eye on that. I haven't
Yeah.
been there in a while, obviously, because I used to walk that all the time with no.
My husband piggybacked me on part of it, I was like,
Oh,
no, she's like, oh,
It- it-
just like caught, I was really tall, I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
it's way down now.
Yeah.
And, the past month, it's way down, but I think it's easy. It makes sense to me to put a couple boardwalks, which
Yeah.
are easily
Yeah.
more removable,
Totally.
but then I was ready to say, argue, we should, if we would have needed to build another double line
Right,
bridge.
you can't be going there anyway, yeah.
And I was gonna see if anybody really thought we needed to, because you can go around it.
Yeah,
Fairly close,
yeah,
so you
yeah,
can get
yeah.
around, but.
Go a different way.
But the couple of the residents in the area were, extremely very contacted, some referred me and.
I mean, that,
Yeah,
it
that's-
doesn't seem pleasant
Yeah.
to walk on in that area.
But I guess the general point for you is that, in terms of marshaling, people to put, to do a work day, on a conservation trail, including putting out boardwalks or whatever.
What was the
Doesn't
other,
even-
what was the other proposal here?
But a summary
But it
report
would,
for
yeah.
them, so was a good, that's to do
What
that.
was the other
The
spot?
information kiosks.
Okay, let's talk about, we'll talk about that in a minute.
Spot that someone recommended for their bridge.
Yeah, well, yeah, if I can back up a minute again, and
Yeah.
just say, just kind of since I'm here, I'd love to kind of make sure I back it up enough to go forward properly, but the scouts, I think. There's Wayne Richardson, I know, and I mean, we used to be scout met, it's just a long time ago together, and I mean, so I got like 3 different requests, texts or emails from scouts, and I wasn't sure who was referring to.
Okay.
Looking for service hours, they're not Eagle yet, but, they're advancing towards that, so they're doing their service hours and X number of them have to be in conservation, so I got that clarified with Wayne, talking it all over with him, but then, so that's, it kind of worked out, made sure I understood the scout protocols and who,
Right.
two adults and all the rules about that, along with the conscom protocols and waiver forms, et cetera, but then Rich and I, you had shown me, there's a whole bunch of lumber and, ready to make boardwalks. We had spent one day and started to build a bunch of them and never got around to them, and then one thing the scouts wanted to do with parental help, because the scouts can't use power saw tools.
Oh,
But they came and spent a day with the two fathers and they all of the lumber is used up and there's
Nice.
10, we already put 5 out, 2 at Perkins, 4 at Hager, and then built now, as of a couple weeks ago, all of the lumber is used, and there's 10 sitting there
That's
downstairs ready to put out. And that's when I put out the call saying, well, the scouts expressed interest, and that would be perfect to get a few more kids together
just
with a
point
couple of trucks to.
You use the long screws, right?
Yes, and I got a whole provided them with all of those. And then, but they're poised and ready this weekend to put out, and based on, to get to your question, or there's at least, there's 4 needed that have not pumped, and then 2 on each side of the bridge would go a long way. I just walked this afternoon at the Flag Hill. There's that whole along
The base of
from
the hill.
Windermere to Stowe is all it's soggy, yucky. I mean, it was the last couple of times.
I know,
That's like
So-
the track.
there
We
aren't
could-
even enough boardwalk, because there are some boardwalks there.
There are a bunch of them.
Yeah,
I,
but they're
as of
just,
today,
they're not
we
enough.
put 4 there,
Yeah,
where it's 2 inches of water now
Wow.
this morning, or maybe it's a waste. I mean, you can, I don't know.
but we've actually tossed around the idea of just, but it's so pointless to try and because you can maybe make a trail a little up on.
There's a blue
There
loop
is,
that goes around into the right area anyway.
but the big trail is so wide and
Right.
broad, I mean, it's just,
Yeah, I mean, at this point, there's that, and we did put, actually, these same scouts that put, the ones we had already made, that were already made, they put out earlier this summer. I mean,
Yeah.
before, they put out 4 on Tom Bieber, and Tom Bieber helped me we used his truck to put them near the trailhead, put them in the trailhead, and then
they
moved
came.
them and put them in place on the.
Yeah, DPW will also do that for you if you ask them.
Yeah, if we don't get it, if they don't get it done this weekend, but the two of the scouts still.
What I mean
I
is,
think we're good for this weekend, but in the future, DPW will.
DPW, no, but what they would do is take them from, Steel Farm Barn and drop them at trailheads.
Yeah.
If you didn't have a truck or,
Alright, that'll be good to keep in mind.
they won't deploy them. I mean, I haven't asked them to do that, but,
Well, it seems like the perfect thing for a bunch of scouts with
it is great.
good
Now,
backs to carry.
I'm gonna do a shout out to the scouts. I wanna point out that bridge, the Haker Bridge behind the school
Yeah.
was done with with Boy Scouts and their parents.
Wow.
The part that's the wooden part.
It's just the scouts now. It's just the
I'm sorry,
scouts.
the scouts and
Yeah.
the parents, yes.
So
And
they're,
that was, and then if you go to the Esker,
yeah,
that was done by Cub Scouts and their parents.
wow,
And the Cub Scouts, they carried all the wood, and that is, if you go up the Esker Trail from, the end of Swanson Road, sort of ends
Yeah.
at 495, and you just parallel 495, go up. Well, then you go down in a marsh,
yeah,
and their boardwalks are all,
yeah, they're,
all the boardwalks that lead to the Esker are Boy Scout projects, or, excuse me,
scout process.
Scout projects.
I don't know,
Um,
I feel like it's still called BSA, they would still call it BSA.
Whatever.
So they're,
Anyway,
I'm wondering about, there's one more needed at the Hager land, but they put 4 out already, and I think it's in pretty good shape, and we'll keep an eye on it if it gets higher. The water gets higher, but so far, it's now much fixed compared to a couple months ago. But there's that and Have Not Pond, and I haven't really, there's other than 4 can easily go on Flag Hill, but I've almost wondered
Yeah,
if we should put them there, save them for somewhere else, but.
the other place that gets flooded out, and I haven't walked it, is Half Moon Meadow. That trail often is wet, but
Where?
I feel like between, right near
Close to the
Beach Farm.
Yeah, close to the
Yeah.
farm end.
Yeah, there's a lot of boardwalks on there.
Yeah, yeah.
And they flood, do they flood? I haven't,
Here's
I haven't
the
walked.
grading
in a while.
plan, as far as option,
Yeah,
yeah.
I have to go across.
Yeah.
to get
Yeah.
it, yeah.
And then the last couple times I walked that, there was a washout at the bridge, on the end of the bridge, back in the spring, but it wasn't,
Yeah.
the water was way
I
down.
don't recall ever seeing a problem with having them Meadow, but,
Mm.
you know,
We-
things can change.
Well, we definitely have,
Neighbors can move in.
Yeah. So I mean, that maybe, if we do put, it's only 2/10 of a mile from the trail end. Put where it's really wet on Flag Hill, suppose if we put them there, could always decide to move them somewhere else if there's a stronger.
That's the sort of thing I'm happy to leave to your discretion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're in a position to be making those.
People like
decisions.
board, you know, they
Yeah.
rather be
It
on
is
the
pretty
board,
wet.
but
I mean,
than on
you
mud.
Yeah.
You have to go under.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't wanna get your boots all wet, then right now it's pretty much.
So, what are the great projects coming?
So there,
One of the great projects?
You said there were some great projects coming up.
Oh,
Yeah.
Also,
the
the
information kiosk, that's the other thing, there's one, the scouts. It seems like a good one for them, and it turns out, you know, they're interested in carpentry and earth and information, and get some reading maps and things. I mean, I was thinking, I kind of tried to encourage one of them, the first one, to do that. Finally, it's getting serious, and I think did repair one. I didn't learn, after I put an initial message out, Norm did say, thought there were a bunch already made and still in the barn.
No, that's.
Sure enough, there are.
Oh,
There are
that's
about 10 of them.
That's
They're already there, so they've repaired one, but now I think there's still a bunch that are pretty bad. Have fallen off the trees or.
Well, we need a new
We
one.
knew it at Perkins and Rowan
Yes,
Meadows.
yes.
There's one, 6x6, I guess, post that's up there on the top, in the barn with all the kiosks, but that's it. We could use that for that spot, because it's kind of in the middle of, there's no tree, as we were looking at.
Right.
But if we need any more, if we need to repair, or replace any of the posts, we were just talking about the fund, is there a fund for purchasing?
yes,
More
definitely.
lumber?
Yes.
Because right now we're out of the use, there's no lumber in the barn of the treated wood for boardwalks anymore.
We have money in the budget for materials.
Should I,
Just-
it's not an urgent now, but it will be, but it'd be good to
Yeah.
kind of get a supply for the next round.
Right, that would just come to us and we sign off and then you could go spend the money at, whatever lumber you're, where
Should I
you
get the,
Littleton?
No,
Yeah, I
Lumber,
believe so.
yes,
Or-
Concord lumber and it
Oh,
is now.
Okay.
should I get
And we,
a more specific quote for?
Yeah, but it wouldn't hurt to get an estimate. It wouldn't
Yeah.
hurt to get a quote.
It just says, if we need $50 or need 10 or whatever it is. and-
yeah, figure out, you would get the town ID number or NR
Okay.
and then we would pay the invoice.
All right, and then the same would apply for the screws and things.
Yeah, well, anything you would need.
And so I'm kind of thinking on the information kiosks they kind of wanted to focus on the boardwalks and then hopefully it'll be done this weekend, but then turn them loose on really repairing and replacing. I've been compiling, people sent me messages of where they're damaged or down.
Yeah,
And seems like a good project for the scouts to put back up on, repair, like replace, paint, whatever, but then follow up with the stewards, so the land volunteer stewards to put new maps.
yeah, okay,
It's kind of break it in that way, let scouts do the
yeah,
maps and the maps, because that's a whole other question that came up and Ian, I think, was in with Alec and message came out this afternoon from Kelly.
yeah, just to
Yeah.
respond to that, the way we, I think Norm pretty much has put up all the pretty much all the kiosks.
Yeah, he's
And I
working
have
with
put
it,
up most of the maps, but what we used to do
yeah.
is, and this is way back, I don't even know when this started, 2003? Something like that.
Yeah,
So I was on the first I guess there was some efforts at land stewardship, but the big push. And so what we would do is the town planner made them, at the time, developed the maps. And I printed them out and laminated them and put them up on the kiosks
yeah,
that Norm, or else I also, the way I had it organized was every property had a head steward,
right,
and they would, and they would help deploy the maps. The thing is, these are paper maps that are laminated.
yeah,
And then, you just staple them in.
yeah.
They get, if too much light,
Yeah, a lot of them are.
water,
Actually,
and it doesn't even, sometimes they can last for a long time, but other times
yeah, some of them you can't even
easy
read anymore.
to get water damage. The dyes are water soluble. they get torn off. And I've just gotten a lot of feedback on those maps that they're not, even though I put "you are here"
Yeah.
or try to on all of them, which is a pain in the neck, but it's, people don't know how to read. First of all, the maps are always oriented.
I find it so useful, what the, I find that
Many
interesting.
people, you know, so it's a question in my mind, like, are people even using the maps? Because a lot of times you have all trails or.
Yeah.
Or town website, yeah.
Where they, you know, so I feel like that whole idea is something we should talk about and maybe get some professional opinion, like what are
Like,
people doing? Because
Baseline data of what other towns are doing.
because again, the maps, it's labor intensive, right? In a way that, you know, we have a lot of kiosks. And if you are putting,
Yeah.
you are here signs.
But I will
Yeah.
say, like, having popped off to random spots in like random towns.
Yeah, they all have maps.
And take a picture of it, then you walk with your picture of the map and you're like, okay, sort of, maybe it's the wrong color, but like,
Yeah.
I know where I am.
But maybe we just have to do it at the head, maybe we
Yeah.
just do it.
That's my experience. Towns do it just at the trailhead.
Just to do it at the main trail.
Yeah, not at every kiosk, but along the way. Something I think is considered.
There's, I mean, the other things that are in a lot of the kiosks are the text
They
information.
take information, but that's usually at the trail head start. Yeah, that's helpful, I think,
Yeah.
to people.
But, I mean, so they could be laminated and buy another 2 years.
Yes, that's right.
Or we could spend, or through.
So I mean,
Next level of quality, I guess, of something longer lasting, but,
certainly the main trailheads, we should have,
Yeah.
really good maps. So,
Yeah.
and again, they have to be generated. I don't see any other thing by just printing them out, and building department has a laminating machine that
yeah. Because based on the discussion this afternoon, or a couple of emails that you, I don't know if you looked at them yet, but they were back at Kelly's, because they brought it up at the.
Yeah, I don't know how they want to assist us. Maybe they'd like to post a few themselves.
Well, to me, it would be if the town or commission or somebody that's has map expertise and printing capacity, et cetera, could produce them with UR here's. If we could.
Yes.
Here's to put them out, you know, the stewards could
Right.
put them out. I don't personally want to tackle producing them all, because I don't have, but if we could figure out. We could use the scouts just to repair the kiosks that need repair.
And then they
So
can,
they're ready to then put
Right.
maps on or information on as a next step.
I'll go back and double check in Chelmsford, but I think the way they do it there is that, you know, they put the maps in between two pieces of plastic, you know, plastic that's like that, which protects them, seems to protect them much better than, you know, the laminated.
I don't understand.
Well, you take an actual, you know, I'm thinking of a pane of glass, but it's not glass, it's like a pane of plastic.
Yeah.
And you put in, and I'll have to go back and review the details, but you put the maps in between those two pieces of, you know, those two plastic panes, and then you attach that to the kiosk.
So they really clip together.
Yeah, there's no way one's.
So it was like a.
Seems like
or something.
Well, but no, there's some way they deal with that. I'll have to go double.
Alright.
I'll have to double.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Well,
What if you use like the stuff you put on a pipe or whatever, like just seal it, the silicone lubricant stuff, whatever it's called, you know,
Maybe that's what they do.
like something to water seal it.
I mean, this has all been done by engineers, so.
Yeah,
Well, I would, again, prioritize, I mean, we need to fix up the kiosks, some of the ones that are damaged first anyway, before the
Right.
absorbing the map, so. Could still, if the scouts seem interested in pursuing that, and if not, I'll gonna put the plea out for the stewards that are handy or wanna fix. So there's a lot of them are in good shape, but a lot of them are falling down or bad.
Right.
Kind of pile on the list, and, you know, it won't be a major, especially since 10 of them or so are made already in the barn. They're sitting there waiting to be put out. It won't, we could get a lot done and then be ready to put whatever we decide in the map, the version, what form want to do in the way of the maps.
right.
But I hear you that it, you know, yeah, what's.
I mean, we could, yeah, it's just, it's a lot, that's what, 20 years of, they last maybe, they last a few years.
Yeah,
Most of them are out, they're like fourth generation are out there, but it's been a while. It's been before COVID since I've changed it.
That's nice.
So-
I mean, that's good amount of
so
time.
if-
Well,
I think
that's 2020.
Yeah, that's
some of
fine.
them are in still
Still
good
fine.
shape, but
It's so weird.
they've, just to make sure they're all legible, even if I don't
Right.
advise 3 or 4 years.
Take
the guys-
take a picture of it and then take your height and then.
Right, but we also have to update, like, our maps have to include inches woods,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
do
that's-
think the Perkins Woods needs a map,
well,
whatever.
the message from Alex this afternoon is they did provide, they.
Yeah, they'll do that.
He has a trail and he's working on the technical part of updating it for the website. but then-
Okay,
And
and they'll provide that to us.
Yeah,
and then-
that's already in the works.
And once it's there, you could print you can print
Yeah.
it right from the
And then
web.
we'll have to put that on the new, I'll try to, if I can get scouts to tackle that, put a new post and a new, right at that intersection. You were there too, Rich, when and, where the new trail connected with the existing rolling meadows, right there at that intersection is. It's kind of a middle of nowhere without,
Well, and it's a miss if you're not familiar.
yeah, if you don't know it's
Yeah,
the new trail there, it's,
it's either miss or you'll get lost.
yeah. So I wanna try to make that a priority with them if they're willing to. But
Right.
now that will require a post hole digger,
Yes.
put a post in the ground, is that?
I think we have, the DPW can do that. Can help us with post hole, or else.
Should I do it with them or versus, or let this?
The scouts,
Scouts,
I mean, sometimes the scouts, you would be so amazed
Yeah.
at how much equipment people.
Yeah,
scouts have.
I'm sure they could tackle it.
Yeah.
If we want to allow.
Oh my gosh, yeah, great
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah,
Totally.
because if they're really able to.
It seems to be a good, they wanna do something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems like they're looking for
Yeah,
that.
and again,
Win-win.
I assume they'll be able to pick the best position for it.
Yeah.
And what the
I,
service is.
my feeling is one time to go out there, but I.
Okay.
We should support that one more on the.
Okay.
Made first, get it ready to go, and
Yeah, I mean, you don't want it facing them.
because I'm not sure I wanna just say, yeah, go for it, I wanna.
Yeah, no, I think definitely a little bit of direction with regard to that issue.
Yeah, right there,
Would be
put it.
good.
Well, Dave, would you mind finding out how your Chelmsford maps are made?
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, because,
Yeah, alright, cause then, so we'll focus on the kiosks themselves, and the
and then we'll figure out,
placing, and then.
yeah, I probably have some maps at home, all laminated already.
I
How,
have this real family.
Did I give you
a bunch of folders,
Oh,
did I?
some in, but not very many.
Not very many, I'll see if I might
There's
do
a
one.
bunch, there's a pile of the ticket for.
I think I actually have a.
Yeah, how does the laminated map hold up? It holds or does it get permeated?
Staple.
You have to try and staple it, here's what I did, I tried many things. Cause usually the laminate comes, it's sort of a sheet that's like a sandwich.
Yeah.
And you put it in and then
Yeah.
it's sealed already at one side and it
I love it.
seals the others. So I would trim the 8.5 by 11 down so that I had more laminated edge. So that my staples didn't somehow,
The paper,
Yeah.
Cut to the paper.
Good idea.
So, but that didn't totally,
Yeah.
I just think, I don't know, they
Is the
just,
staples rusted? What?
the staples do rust.
Yeah.
But I just feel water damage, it's almost like, how did it get through the lamination? I don't know. It's hard to know.
Well, figure out a new system when we know.
Yeah, if anybody else, yeah, so it'll be interesting in that system.
First.
And I will look for more map, while your Boy Scouts are out there, if they're putting out kiosks, they might as well put a map in there.
Yeah.
Yes.
it would-
And we'll go and we'll look forward to when the Perkins Woods gets added to our, is there anything, Ian, you want to say about that effort or?
No, with this
This is
event
just an
that
FYI for us.
yeah, exactly. And I'm hoping to help Alec with it some.
Yeah, okay.
And with the GIS stuff, and yeah, no, November especially seems like a pretty a lighter month for me than certainly October with the town meeting and the event that we had. So I'm looking forward to helping support this.
Right.
Ethan and I would be happy to come in and meet or follow up with you too and Alex to figure out what volunteers do and what you're capable of doing or as far as producing maps. But,
Yeah, I'll check in with. I can check in with Alec either tomorrow or like Monday.
Okay.
Just because we have a packed date tomorrow. But after that, I can check in with him and see exactly where he stands, how much support he needs from me, and exactly what he'll be needing from you as well as the commission. But yeah, I'm definitely excited to do some mapping and put my GIS skills back to work. I've always looked at the maps in the hallway of the town hall and thought that and looked forward to helping update them. So
Yeah, and if I could just say something, it seems like most of the conversation's been about weatherizing and the durability of the maps versus the content and quality. Although, I think that's obviously of interest. And so I would be happy to come to that meeting, Dave, to maybe
You do know something about
have
This is
some
so
opinions on what makes a good map.
I'm kind of hoping you
You would
go
chime in.
Yeah, that would be.
Well, you mentioned the maps for GIS, so that was my cue to say something.
Yeah. I like to go out there with the chainsaw and help others pick up sticks, and if you guys get the maps ready and we'll put them on.
Well, I don't know if you have some thoughts on how to make them more, you've seen the maps that are out there, right?
Yes, pretty bare bones.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing. Are they bare bones or are there too many things that are confusing? Because there's so many layers, like, do you want to house it?
Yeah,
We can put in wetlands, we can put in, but that's blue,
I know this is a whole week assignment for next time, when we all go look at other towns and how they do their conservation maps on their, I'm serious, and see what they do and then be like, we saw this thing that's better or worse or whatever.
I like to get the blue and the yellow
Yeah, I love it.
trails and the
It's
wetlands are pretty well marked, but that's not much.
And I'm also wondering, again, we don't have a UR here, it's not like, how like when you're navigating that.
No, but if you
like this, so that you
Patch Hill, there's a spot that's like literally has a UR hill at like Birch Heads or whatever that's called,
There's a few of them.
yeah, it's like you are here, it's like there's two different loops you could take, I forget what it's called.
I find them useful even with all trails.
Yeah.
I
Agreed.
sometimes I'll put them on my phone, sometimes I don't. But they're nice, especially but now, as you get familiar, you don't need,
Yeah,
you know where you're going, but the first time around, it's,
it might be
section, especially in Patch Hill, which is so
Patch
big.
Hill is very.
and there's so many different little bits.
There's a lot of different ways to go.
So-
Yeah. But you're right, probably anybody under 30 doesn't know how to read a map anyway, unless it's on a phone.
It was just, yeah, so, all right, well, I do think for those that did find it interesting,
Yeah.
it's worth doing.
I'm gonna go see if that one that I'm talking about is still there, because I think it was just like a little mini kiosk attached to a tree, that was just, the first time I went, I was like, whoa, where do I go? And it was like 3 options, and there's some like little neighborhood that's.
One of the ones I think you might be talking about is on the
ground.
On the ground.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe.
That's one of them that needs to be put back.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's been years since I've gone over
But
there.
it's there,
Yeah.
it fell off.
All right,
Some of them are down. so-
always excited to talk about.
Yes, I'm actually surprised the kiosks have lasted so long without getting bullet holes in them.
Actually, there's the one on Flag Hill, this morning,
Oh.
the picture is a
Okay.
big, huge one. There's a whole bunch of bullet holes in it.
Okay.
I took some
Okay.
pictures of this. But that's the only one I've seen.
Okay.
Jeez, that's
Through
crazy.
bullet holes.
So, you were going to follow up with what they do in Chelmsford, and all of us are gonna take just a little look at,
Yeah, I'm
what's
excited.
done, and Rich, maybe you could weigh in on, you're gonna talk with, Dave on it.
I love that, try it
Well,
out.
as
Yeah.
someone also does that, you should go to other.
I don't do that anymore,
Oh,
but I can advise.
Right, yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
So,
advice is good.
yeah,
So we'll figure.
I think everybody expects to be
And we'll-
oriented from a kiosk to where they're about to walk at this point.
Yes.
And, like
Yes,
conservation, like,
Yeah.
oh, there's a conservation trail, there's gotta be a way.
Because-
even if the map is tilted,
Yeah.
Because-
it's very helpful.
because here's the other thing, though, and, cause I feel like so many of our trail systems are made up of, like, well, there were all these trails that were already there. It's not like
Right,
we
yeah.
we went in and did a nice loop with several like,
Yeah, that sort of makes sense.
we sort of, ours just weave together, old cart paths plus, you know, horse trails plus
Like
this,
the
that.
Birchwoods Trail.
Well, you know, so I do think just having one map at the beginning is probably not enough, but again, you're right, people can take.
I think there's like, it depends on the loop too.
Yeah.
Like that area that I'm
Yeah.
referencing, it's like clear, I would imagine that neighbors were like, this, these
Yeah.
people keep arriving in my yard and let's.
Cause,
I think the national area is the biggest need.
Yeah, totally, that's
So
what
many
it is.
trails.
There's so many different things. Is that what
Well,
first one
just
says?
follow
First one, yes.
That would be what I'm thinking of. That I was like, where do I go? What we just. Cause I didn't have a plan, I was just like walking.
I actually wanted to close virtuals, but.
I don't think it's called traveling.
Yes,
I thought we
I
decided.
thought we did, but we didn't actually, I don't know how you close things that make people.
Take down the kiosk, but I don't think that many people use it, right?
Anyway,
Right, so I just proceed with the scouts.
that's it.
Yeah. Yes,
Procedure, and maybe next time we meet, we'll have an update on size and talk a little more about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, and, yeah, just.
Yeah,
I'll definitely-
I just don't want to, I'm not,
Write some summaries, reports on a regular basis, that.
and I'm wondering if we can even just send stuff to Staple, can you send them a file to laminate and produce them for you? I don't know, but,
Somebody must do it, it's not Staples.
yeah, somebody must do it.
Yes.
I'm not getting back in that business.
Oh,
That's
laminating? Oh, laminating? You can laminate.
Well, no, it's also putting the you are here's with their
Oh.
little, that's really a
Well,
pain.
that sounds like actually pretty fun.
That is a lot, yeah, so nothing.
I know.
Yeah, if anybody has any ideas
I will
about
do that, but I don't even know, like, other than redo what we have, I don't have ideas, but I can,
that, yeah.
but like in a more modern looking way.
Yeah, and some of the, I do think we've added, our trails maps have not kept up with some of the additions. that we've-
Yeah, and based on the email stuff, you know, and Alec seems to be suggesting that it's time to update it, he's available, at least consider to discuss with Ian and others in our town, how we can work together, who wants to support who. I
Yeah,
look forward to having well enough that discussion, and then we can make sure we're doing it all in a cohesive way.
sounds good. All right, thank you. Anything else? No?
No trouble.
No trouble.
The weather's still good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now you're back and, we're on the saddle again.
yeah, yeah. I was, part of my training to turn the draw was allowed to did a lot of miles on Foxborough.
Really, that helped?
Well, it was better than, I went to New Hampshire many times, to
Yeah,
watch the 4,000 footers, but in between, we.
Oh, yeah. And at least
Just
we're not all
some
around.
rough, yeah. There's a
Cool.
lot of good trails around here. All
There
right,
are.
thank you.
yeah, thanks,
Bye.
appreciate it.
Okay, so let's see where we are. We've done that, driveway. Do we want a enclave update? I'm sure that must be Ian.
And there's action that had been requested as well. I'll walk us through that, but I did provide you guys with some items.
Yeah.
I believe I provided you with the original. It's not quite the as-built. I'll share my screen. The not quite as-built, we'll call it. This is from a minor modification in 2023 or 24 that shows on the third to last page, shows the wetland replication area and the wetland or the buffer zone restoration area, as well as the wetland replication area. I wish I could show them side by side on the Zoom. However, you guys can hold them side by side in your hand because you also have this this wetland replication sketch.
Right.
As well as I printed out the email correspondence from town engineer Sue Carter following a site visit her and I took to the Enclave Construction Access Road. We walked the site and found a couple things of note, and the contractors are working on those currently. What they did need was permission to move around the wetland replication area slightly, expand it in its area as well. So the summary can be found at the bottom of page 1 in the first few paragraphs of page 2. It is an email from Jim Manganiello, of LEC Environmental Consultants. He was there on site. We met with him and he showed us a test pit that he dug where we saw glade soil. This test pit was not originally located in the wetland restoration area, and I will bring this back up. The original proposed wetland replication area went through some issues with ledge and grade.
Right.
So they are proposing to move specifically this area here of the wetland restoration area. You guys can see my cursor, correct?
Yeah. Oh,
They're
yeah.
looking to move this and expand it southward into this area because it was lower lying, there was less ledge, and it's believed to already have hydraulic soils. As you can see in the test pit image, you can see the glade soils here, and you can see in the sketch a estimate of where that test pit lies in relation to that.
Well, so if it's got hydric soil, then it's already a wetland, no?
Yes, I believe the issue was that it wasn't originally marked as a wetland during the first during the wetland marking that took place almost or over 5 years ago at this point when the original enclave plan was made. And since this is disturbed area that now has a construction access road over it, they're looking to restore this area to wetland to its former state when they remove this construction access road.
Okay, thank you again.
That seems reasonable.
Yeah.
Well, I forgot that this is really a restoration area,
Right.
not a replication.
Yeah, in fact, we.
Yeah, my apologies for that slip up, but yes, it is a that. And I will note that I'll check back in tomorrow. What was the next action? It said Jim was going to follow up with his surveyors to get a precise area of this new proposed area, and he did say that it was going to have a minimum of 1,066 feet, which was the original proposed area. So he was hoping that it would be bigger.
Well, it can't be smaller.
Survey shall be used to confirm the square footage, which is minimum. LEC carried. Okay. Yeah. And so after Sue has done more site visits to the area, they had fixed some of their straw wattles, had gotten rid of some of the items that were left either by them or previous contractors that were in sensitive areas. They have since removed those. Now this is the only item that needs action from the CONSCOM.
To approve the, I'm asking for an approval of the.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
Just a question, Ian, a separate but related matter. So when was this order of conditions issued? Do you know?
I cannot answer when it was issued, but I know that it expires in November.
Okay, that's what I was getting at.
That
So-
yeah, that is the I can. It was likely in 2020 when this was originally permitted, and so that was one of the big things, is that we reminded them and found that timeline. It's either it is 11/23, 2025 that OOC expires.
Well, but if it was issued in 2020 originally, then it would have expired in 2023.
Okay, then it must have been following the minor modification. Yeah, sorry, do not quote me on the 2020. I know that this is when this originally proposed, but I'm guessing that once they got those initial approvals, construction didn't start until 2023, I know. So that's when
Well, yes, what I'm getting at is, when does the order expire?
yes, and we are certain that it is November of 2025. We did look up that.
Well, then that's an issue, because they need an extension next month, and we're not gonna be we're gonna be meeting.
11/23/25, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
so,
So our next meeting, we would have to grant.
yeah.
An extension?
Yeah,
They need to apply for an extension.
well, they need to request one, yes.
Yeah, they need to request an extension.
All right, good to know. I'll reach out to Sue and I'll reach out to the contractors tomorrow and let them know.
Thank
It
you.
was my understanding that they were attempting to complete all of this by then, but I don't see that as
Well, they're not gonna be ready for a certificate of compliance. I mean, they really need to extend it longer.
okay.
Than, a month. We can grant them a year's extension, or 2 years, 3 years, whatever, but it needs one, it really needs one.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
And I will note we have Cindy here. Raise her hand again.
Oh, sure. Cindy.
Yeah, hi again. This project got extended, I think, through the Permit Extension Act. And I'm not, again, sure whether the wetlands permitting is on a separate track from the rest of the project. They have a performance bond that we're holding until completion of the project. I guess I'm not 100% sure whether the wetlands restoration is included in that. I think it probably is.
Or the original order, yes.
I believe the things are tied together. So if you give them a 3-year extension, they can't close out the project, and they were supposed to close out the project completely, I believe, by November 2025.
They don't want to close out. We could give them a year. It's not like.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have to take all the time of the
Yeah.
extension we grant them, but.
May I ask a question? I'm just looking through the correspondence on this, and it looks like they have a sense of urgency due to some erosion concerns. So if we grant them an extension, are we, punting on that?
Not, it's that they cannot get the replication done and then are signing up, because we have to have it go through a growing season to make sure that there's restoration or replication, right? So
If the order expires, they can't do any more work on the project. That's
Yeah.
the bottom line. Whether it's the
And-
restoration area, there may be other things that need to be done as well. I mean, that's just, a month is just not reasonable at this point.
So we want it to be done right, so we would like them
Yes.
to ask for an extension.
I'm
So that-
following all that, except for, just noting that they seem to have a sense of urgency due to some erosion concerns.
Well, they can go ahead and address that.
Yeah, they can do it.
As long as the order is still valid, they can do that.
They can address it.
Yeah, that's certainly allowed.
And but it also works for us in that we can also make sure if there's follow-up, if their replication is not to our standards,
Exactly.
you know, they would have to go and then refile
Okay,
in
now,
order to.
key things, they can address this concern with an extension.
Yes.
Yeah.
If it expires, then it's a whole.
And maybe a year is let's, you know.
Yeah, we
a
can
year,
talk about that.
We could make.
I wanna have I think, a better understanding of what more needs to be done, you know.
Can I also ask sort of another question? Again, because the project was supposed to close out after the, oh gosh, I don't remember, it was a 3-year time frame, and that's now at least 5 years. I don't know whether the residents of the enclave are being impacted by the work being done on this restoration, but that is one consideration, and also the rest of the construction access road, you know, has been part of it, appears to have a lot of soils and such placed on it, perhaps is related to this activity. So the longer this drags on, I think it's impacting the surrounding areas. So I guess I just wanted to raise that to your attention. You know, and also I assume there's a seasonal timing associated with this wetland restoration, and you know, when's the appropriate time for plantings and such. So I don't know the answer. I guess you guys would know better, but I just wanted to raise the concerns about the way the area is being kept currently and the condition of the surrounding area. It is impacting, I think, the abutting areas. So I just wanted to raise that.
Anything more on this? So we're going to, so Ian, you're gonna follow up with them and tell them to file for an extension, and I guess, and I don't know if we're gonna have a November 5th meeting. We probably are. We'll see.
Well, if you have a quorum, you can certainly
Exactly.
approve the extension then.
Right,
I guess it wouldn't hurt to have it ready.
right.
Mhm.
But we
Okay.
also, they have 2 meetings, they can also get to our November 17th, so they have 2
Okay.
chances before their order.
Late November deadline. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
And Sue did suggest that we, at least in the meantime, approve the replication area. Is that something?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's reasonable what
Yeah,
you're
I
suggesting.
think it looks like it's been proposed after, you know, a significant amount of review and, you know.
So it,
So I'm certainly comfortable with that.
so I'll make a motion to approve the new siting for the wetland restoration for this project. And that it, and I just do want to make sure that it meets or exceeds the 1,066 square feet that was originally promised.
Yep. And I'll follow up with Jim to see if he was able to get that number when I get in contact with him tomorrow.
So can I have a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Good.
And I'll try to, I think a year is reasonable.
Yeah, I think a year is reasonable also. Well,
To allow for the regrowth of this
we need to
area.
talk about it because.
maybe we should.
Yeah, but we'll
Restoration
of course discuss it further in
That's
whichever
what you want
meeting we
to
take
year
a look at.
monitoring, right?
Right, sometimes you want a 3-year model.
Yeah.
We can talk about it.
Yeah, I
Okay.
don't think that our 3 years, I mean, I hear Cindy's point, but I don't think that the duration of our new order of conditions is going to slow them down on completing the project. I don't think that's gonna be a big thing, and because when you are doing replication or restoration, I mean, the point is how much survives the first year, the second year. You know, we've been monitoring other replication areas for 3 years, some 5.
No, no.
So, that is something we should talk about. Maybe we should have it November 17th then, since you'll be here.
Okay,
It would be the 19th, just an FYI.
I'm
But,
sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, yeah, 19th.
but yeah, I will. I'll let them know about that.
Okay. Anything else on that? Okay. Do we want to, I wish I knew where this, what stretch of, I'm moving on to the Oxbow. I don't know if we need to talk about that, but I haven't gone by and, seen this, but I mean, I think
Yeah, where do you go?
I feel like we need to be doing more of this.
yeah,
So,
I agree.
so if this, I think I would like to keep.
Oh, it's, like there's the other school, right?
It's down where Beaver Brook crosses Lower.
Oh, is that where it is? Okay,
And he did a really good job.
Yeah.
It's already mostly gone.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Because I just think, if just knotweed alone is just a horrible, you can keep going uphill road.
Yeah.
Well, I think
So,
what he ultimately is looking for is the commission's support. I mean, he's not gonna do this for free every year.
Oh, no,
I think he's asking the commission's support to have a budget line item or. something in the
Honestly,
budget.
that is something I would like to talk about too,
Yeah,
when we
totally.
do our, when's the budgeting cycle for next year? Because I definitely think, we need to take strong, I think it's time we could take stronger action on tackling invasives.
Yeah, I agree completely.
So, yeah, so this will be an interesting one to monitor, and now that I know.
and they seem like they have a really good understanding of when the plans will be.
Yeah.
Beneficial.
I
Yeah.
think that science, has gotten, the information on how and when and with what to treat
Yeah.
these invasives.
Totally.
It's just really increased dramatically. So yes, great. I'll look at that. And anything else?
There
Oh,
was
yes,
this Dillis and Roy monitoring
you
report as
want to
well.
do
That was
that?
pretty brief.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm seeing 241 and 242.
Oh, fine.
So which one is it really?
241, should be.
241.
You came up with some, their backyard, like the big red house. One week on.
Yeah,
So, right, they're basically kind of monitoring it?
Yeah, they're saying, they like say like, before, after, to show their findings of their
right,
application.
because this is a year, right? It's been, they've
Yeah.
actually had a year of growth. And this is what they're saying the survival rate is. But we don't need to vote on this, correct?
No.
Nope.
Just.
This was just correspondence.
Yeah, excellent. Is there anything else?
That's all I have.
Any other concerns, issues? Great. Okay, so we will entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
You did.
All in favor? Aye. At 9:20. Well, thank you, Ian.
No problem. Thanks for
Being
here, guys. Apologies for the difficulties at the beginning, Liz, but we didn't have quorum, so it ended up
Hey, it
working
was
out.
no harm done in that respect.
All right. Thank you very much.